Imagine having a dad who executes your mom, a half-sister who throws you into a dungeon, and a bunch of ministers nagging you to get married ASAP. Welcome to the life of Elizabeth I. Most people think being a queen back then was all fun and games, just chilling in the palace. But for Elizabeth, her life was a god-level survival game from the moment she was a toddler. It all started with her father, King Henry VIII, a king famous for having 6 wives and a hobby of divorcing or beheading them if they couldn't produce a male heir. Elizabeth was the daughter of his second wife, Anne Boleyn, who, well, you guessed it, was beheaded by her own husband when Elizabeth was only 2 years old. With her mother executed, little Elizabeth was immediately stripped of her succession rights and declared illegitimate. She was exiled to a remote palace. But fate had other plans. After her father and 2 half-siblings died, one after another, guess who finally took the throne? The moment she became queen at age 25, Elizabeth's biggest problem wasn't the economy or war. It was the ultimate dreaded question. When are you getting married? Back then, a queen without a king was seen as weak, and ministers panicked about having no royal heir. Plus, kings from all over Europe, including her own former brother-in-law, King Philip of Spain, were practically lining up to propose. But Elizabeth was incredibly smart. She knew marrying a foreign king meant England would be quietly taken over. Marrying a local noble? That would trigger a civil war. So, her solution? She declared, "I am already married to the Kingdom of England." Yep, she friend-zoned the entire world. This bold move earned her the nickname the Virgin Queen. But don't be fooled. Just because she was single didn't mean she was soft. In fact, her rejection made one of her angry ex-suitors declare an all-out war. King Philip of Spain was officially done. His love was rejected. English pirates kept robbing Spanish gold ships, and Elizabeth was backing rebels in Spanish territories. Finally, Philip was like, "All right, time to wipe England off the map." In 1588, Spain sent the largest invasion fleet in history, known as the Spanish Armada, 130 massive warships carrying thousands of soldiers. On paper, England, which was small and relatively poor at the time, was doomed. Faced with this giant monster of a fleet, did Elizabeth run and hide in a bunker? Nope. She put on steel armor, mounted a horse, and went straight to her troops on the shores of Tilbury to deliver a legendary speech. "I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king." And then, a miracle happened. The English strategy was pure genius. Since the Spanish ships were huge and slow, the English sent fire ships, empty vessels set on fire, drifting right into the Spanish fleet. Boom! The Spanish panicked, their formation broke, and to make things worse, Mother Nature joined the English side by sending a massive storm. The Invincible Armada limped back home with only half their ships left, completely wrecked. This impossible victory made Elizabeth a superstar across Europe, and England officially entered its golden age. With Spain out of the way, England was thriving. Arts and literature exploded. This was the time Shakespeare was writing his famous plays. But as Elizabeth got older, she faced a new, terrifying enemy: aging. After surviving smallpox, her skin was left scarred. To maintain her image as the flawless, eternal queen, Elizabeth started wearing heavy white makeup. The problem? The makeup was made of lead and arsenic. Yes, she was literally painting her face with slow-acting poison every single day. As the years went on, the toxic makeup made her health deteriorate. Her teeth turned black from eating too much sugar, and she grew increasingly paranoid. Yet, she refused to name a successor, because doing so meant admitting her time was coming to an end. In 1603, at the age of 69, the Virgin Queen finally passed away, ruling for 45 incredible years. Since she never married and had no children, the famous Tudor dynasty died with her. The throne went to her cousin's son, James, and just like that, an era ended. Elizabeth I started as an unwanted, exiled child, but she left the world as one of England's greatest monarchs. She proved that she didn't need a king to build an empire. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.